Hi, my name is Gabriel, and I participate in the course that we're taking now in the springtime, literary themes and topics, spring 2022. So the book that I will be discussing is A Fallen Star by Chantel Acevedo. And what I'll be discussing about this book is the characters. So to begin with, I don't think I dislike any character. For me, a lot of the characters gave me insight to why I experienced the things that I did during my childhood. And I hope that the story did that for a lot of you too. At least the ones that are Hispanic Americans, or the ones that are Cuban Americans. I don't want to forget to mention anyone. So some of the things that are important to me are, for example, Magdalena, the way that she protected Daisy, the way that she was so reserved and protecting Daisy from the world. I disliked that aspect of her, but I didn't dislike her because I knew that Magdalena went through a traumatic experience, and I never seen it through that perspective. I never understood really what type of traumatic experience they could have been through. So Magdalena was one of my favorite characters because I can relate her to my grandmother, or my grandmother to her. So I understand now why she wouldn't express details of the things that she went through, because they were just too tough to bear, and she just didn't want to share it. She didn't think it needed to be shared. She didn't think there was something to understand about that. And I'm glad I understand it, because I see her differently. I treat her differently. And not only her, it's my mom too. Like, my mom also had a traumatic experience as, growing up, coming from another country, because I'm not completely Cuban. I have a Colombian background as well. So I can, through Magdalena, I was able to understand a lot that my family went through, and I could relate, and I appreciate that. Angel. So Angel was a character that also, I liked him. So I liked Angel because he was protective of his family. That's something that I admire. That no matter the cost, he was there. He was in the trenches. He was fighting for his family, especially in those restricted circumstances. No one likes to be in those circumstances. And I can see why throughout the book there was episodes of him getting angry and curling his fist, or turning his hands into fists, and him getting high blood pressure. That's something that I've also experienced in my family too. So I like Angel. That's a character that I do like. I can say Magdalena, I dislike her a little bit for the way she was, but now that I understand it, how could I dislike her? Michael, I didn't like. So Michael is a character that I didn't like because he wasn't vulnerable when it was time for him to be vulnerable in situations when he had to be vulnerable, which was when he met with the therapist, when he was sitting next to his daughter, when it was time for him to be a man and tell the truth. He downplayed it. Because of his trauma, he didn't want to be vulnerable. He rather, let a wall grow around his heart and not and not express himself. Daisy's very smart, and she reminds me of myself. She reminds me of the conversations that I tried to have with my father, with my mother about women or about girls, and they always failed. Not only about girls, but about life in general. There are things that I wish that my parents did, but at the same time, if it wasn't because of the way they treated me, I wouldn't be the gentleman that I am today. So I don't have any remorse for my parents. I embrace them, and sometimes I feel bad for them because they don't understand. Or my dad is a big example. He just doesn't understand. Like, he's stuck in I don't know. He just doesn't understand. It's hard to explain. Stella is so smart. I could say that I do like Stella. I like Stella because of, or Belen, I should say, because of the way that she expresses herself regardless of the situation, which is something that she learned from her mom. Something that I like to call, chispa, which Belen/Stella had a lot of chispa. She was, to the point. She would not beat around the bush. She would figure it out, problem solve, get to it, So a character that I disliked, I only disliked her actions, was Anita, sorry. So Sola Marie, which changed her name and changed the birthday and the name of Stella. I disliked her actions, but I didn't dislike her. She was vulnerable. She was willing to be vulnerable, especially with her kids, with her child, or with the child she decided to take and raise. Somehow, I didn't finish the part. I didn't get to that part where what the heck happened to Belen, honestly. I was hoping I would find it, and I was surprised when Belen showed up out of nowhere from Pittsburgh. That was pretty cool. But Solo Marie/Anita is someone that I dislike the actions, but I don't dislike the way, her vulnerability. So there's a balance there, The one that I disliked was, or that I could remember, I don't even remember her name, was the one that was doing the witchcraft. That's probably the person that I didn't like, because I just don't, I respect it, but I just feel like it's calling on forces that should not be called on. Like, it's like awakening the dead. That's not something I'm into, I don't think many people are into. But hey, to each their own. Thank you for spending your time watching my idea on these characters. I appreciate you. I appreciate the professor, and most importantly, I appreciate the author, because I never thought I was gonna be able to put a finger on my experience in life, on why my parents were the way they were, why my family was the way they were.